Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
These people must be bored out of their minds. They even came to the company, Jared murmured, feeling displeased. Mr. Johnston, do you want to find something for them to do? Max asked from the side. Only those who did not make a ruckus. Understood. Jared got up and walked toward the office. Just as he sat on the chair to rest for a while, he heard a knock on the door. Come in. He really could not get himself a break. Fiorella walked in with her heels clicking loudly against the floor. Jared glanced over and couldn't help sucking in a breath. How did she come here so quickly? Miss Fisher, what brings you here? Jared teased. Fiorella understood the meaning of his words. She asked, What do you mean, Mr. Johnston? What brought me here again? Do you not welcome me? No way. My door is not for Miss Fisher to causally enter whenever she wants, Jared said with sarcastic remarks, but Fiorella did not care about it. As long as she could see Jared, she would be happy. Mr. Johnston, do you notice anything different about me today? Fiorella twirled in front of Jared, looking at him with big watery eyes. Jared did not understand, so he looked at her for a long time. However, he did not notice any difference. In fact, he did not care about her appearance at all. What's different? Jared asked. Fiorella's face immediately fell. You are half-hearted, aren't you? You didn't take a good look at it. I'm wearing a newly bought skirt today. She looked at him with a smile on her face. Jared was speechless for a moment and thought, what's there to be happy about in a dress? It's such a fuss. If it's not for a project I'm cooperating with her, I won't even bother with her at all. Jared did not show any indifference on his face but looked at her with slightly praised eyes. Very beautiful. Fiorella's face blossomed with joy when she heard Jared's praise. I knew it. You would think it looks great too. Please have a seat. Jared motioned for her to sit down. Fiorella sat opposite Jared and looked at him affectionately. Are you working? Well, what seems to be the matter, Miss Fisher? Jared wanted to solve all her problems as soon as possible so she could leave. Why can I only come if I have something to do? Isn't your door open for me at any time? Fiorella suddenly scolded him. Jared was speechless. He could barely give a polite smile. When Fiorella noticed that Jared did not speak, she knew her sudden visit had disturbed his work. I won't disturb your work. I'll wait for you on the sofa, she said with a smile. Miss Fisher, don't you have a project to work on? Jared wanted to remind her. There's Castor on the project site, so don't worry. Fiorella had handed the matter over to Castor and then hurriedly went to find Jared. What? You put Castor in charge of it? Jared looked at Fiorella in disbelief. Miss Fisher, Castor has no practical experience. What if something goes wrong without your supervision? Jared reminded her worriedly. Relax, don't worry. My assistant is there to assist him. Nothing bad will happen. Even if something happens, my assistant will call. Fiorella looked very calm. Mr. Johnston, do you have coffee? She wants me to brew coffee for her. Jared really wanted nothing to do with her. Why did Henry have to sign a contract with her back then? He picked up his phone and said, Make a cup of coffee for Miss Fisher. Miss Fisher, I'm quite busy today. You're wasting time waiting for me here. Why don't I arrange some entertainment for you? Jared just wanted her to leave his office as soon as possible, even if it costed him a little money. Without you, there is no entertainment at all. No matter what Jared said, Fiorella was determined not to leave. All right. Jared had no choice but to tear himself apart because of such a trivial matter. Instead of looking at her, Jared started to deal with the workload in his hand. He had already lost 10 minutes talking to her just now. He could not waste too much time on her. His assistant knocked on the door and walked in with 2 cups of coffee. Miss Fisher, your coffee. Then another onto Jared's table. He gave her a wink, the assistant understood and left. Jared continued to work while Fiorella was sipping coffee on the sofa while looking at Jared as if she was his girlfriend waiting for him to get off work. "Mr. Johnston, your office lacks a bit of vitality. I'll send some flowers to decorate it later." Jared did not hear what she said at all, and then hummed. On the side, Nicole had arrived at the Sea View Villa and had been chatting with Mrs. Wallace Sr. for a long while. "Nicole, when will you come back from this trip?" Mrs. Wallace Sr. looked at Nicole with reluctance in her eyes. "Grandma, I should be back soon this time." Nicole was unsure herself, but saying this would reassure her to make her feel at ease. "All right. Tell me in advance before you come back. I'll cook some delicious food for you." Mrs. Wallace Sr. looked at Nicole with a kind smile. Nicole stepped forward and hugged her for a while, then let go. "Grandma, I'm leaving." Nicole got up and walked outside. When she came to the door, Nicole told Tia, "Don't ever leave Grandma unattended. Keep up the good work." "No worries. Mrs. Wallace Sr. is just like my own grandma. Don't worry. The next time you come back, I promise to make her fatter," Tia promised Nicole. "You also need to gain some weight." Nicole looked at Tia with a smile. "I don't need it. I still need to be pretty." Tia smiled sweetly. "I'll be off now. Remember to send us a message when you get there." "I will. Bye, Grandma." After speaking, Nicole drives away from the Sea View Villa. She glanced at her watch, noticing some time left, and drove to Jared's office. After the assistant walked out of Jared's office, she quickly called Castor. Fiorella was still leisurely admiring the scenery in Jared's office. When a call came in, she walked over to pick it up, and it was Castor's voice that came from the other end. "Miss Fiorella, there's something I need you to go through personally. Can you come over now?" "What's the matter? Is my assistant around?" asked Fiorella. "There were some other matters to deal with, so he left for a while. If you're not coming, we most probably have to delay the progress," Castor explained. Fiorella replied with slight annoyance, "All of you are a useless bunch. Give me some time, I'm going over now." As soon as she hung up, Fiorella walked to Jared's desk and looked at him. "Mr. Jared, I'll have to attend to some matters about the project for a while. I'll come over later." "Go on. I won't be sending you off then." Once Jared heard that she was leaving, he was inexplicably delighted. "Are you that eager for me to leave?" Fiorella bent forward and stared at Jared. Jared immediately leaned back. "It's just that your work there is much more important. You're overthinking it." "Okay, I'm leaving now." Then, Fiorella walked out. Watching Fiorella leave, Jared felt relieved. "I've finally sent her away." Fiorella stood in the elevator lobby while waiting for the elevator to come up. Once a ding sounded, the doors opened and revealed Nicole was in the elevator. The both of them stared at each other concernedly. The moment their gazes met, a silent competition grew between them. Nicole slowly stepped out of the elevator and passed by Fiorella. After Fiorella had already entered the elevator, her eyes were still nailed to Nicole's back up to the moment when the doors closed. When did she return? Fiorella was having a moment of shock in the elevator. Nicole walked to Jared's office. When Jared's assistant noticed her approaching, he covered his mouth in surprise. He wanted to dial Jared and inform him, but it was too late. Nicole was already about to push the office door open. Jared assumed that Fiorella had come back again. So, he looked up and was about to question her. But unexpectedly, he met Nicole's eyes. "Why are you here?" Jared froze as a slight sense of guilt rose in him. But in a split second, his face broke into a surprised look. Yet, Nicole still caught him. She teased him. "Why? Are you upset that I'm not the one you were expecting?" "What are you talking about?" Jared pretended he did not understand Nicole's words. "Stop acting. I've already bumped into her just now." Nicole did not have much time, so she spoke straightforwardly. Hearing this, Jared immediately laughed. "You meant Miss Fiorella?" He purposely referred to her with a professional title and not her full name. Was there someone else here other than her? Nicole sat right in front of him and looked at him sternly. She was waiting for him to explain himself. The both of you talked? Jared asked carefully. No. Nicole looked back at him calmly. Jared immediately sighed out of relief. As long as Fiorella kept her mouth shut and did not spit nonsense, it would be easier for me to explain. So, the thing is, Henry signed a project with Ms. Fiorella previously. Now that Henry isn't around, As Jared was explaining, Nicole suddenly interrupted him. I don't have much time today to listen to the whole story. Just tell me what she is here for today. A strong aura of pressure from Nicole was placed on Jared. She came today just to discuss the project. Jared spitted out a lie brazenly. Nicole snorted. This is my first time seeing someone wear a floral dress to discuss a project. Nicole's words hit Jared hard like a slap that he had nothing to refute. That is her personal matter. I have nothing to say. Jared was still stubborn. Nicole could see through him. He doesn't want to tell me the truth? That's fine. I'm not that interested in it anyways. You should pay more attention to Martin's matters. He needs your help. Nicole looked at Jared solemnly. Then, she stood up and walked out. Nicole, where are you going? Jared immediately asked her. Nicole did not reply to his question and walked straight out of the office. From the window, Jared watched Nicole drive off in that Lamborghini. He quickly picked up his phone and called her. But even after a few calls, no one picked up the phone. Jared knew that Nicole was angry at him, so she would not take her calls. He stopped bothering her and thought of explaining everything to her clearly when he met her at night. Then, he returned to his desk and continued working. Time flew by quickly alongside Jared's pen, which was gliding away. When he looked up, it was already afternoon. So, he put down his pen and stood up to stretch. Then, he took his jacket and walked out. As he reached his assistant's desk, he stopped for a moment. If Miss Fiorella is here to see me, tell her I'm on a business trip. Noted. Jared drove and headed to the Seaview Villa. He knew that Nicole must have gone there, so he did not return to his own place. Little did he know, Nicole was already on the plane and resting. Although her eyes were closed, the image of Fiorella at the elevator kept popping up in her head. Nicole casually sat up, simply picked up a magazine, and flipped through it. She wanted to ignore Fiorella. But no matter what she was looking at, she could not forget Fiorella's provocative look at the elevator lobby. In the end, she managed to forget it by watching a comedy reality show. Jared's car slowly entered the Seaview Villa's porch. Right at that moment, Tia turned around and saw the car that drove in. Whose car is it? Tia murmured and walked out. She only recognized that it was Jared's car when she reached the porch. Mr. Johnston, why did you come? Tia walked over to him. I'm here to visit Grandma. Jared did not explicitly mention that he was there to find Nicole. As he was worried that Nicole would speak harshly to him, Jared used Mrs. Wallace Sr. as a shield. Oh, come on in then. Seeing that Jared was here to visit Mrs. Wallace Sr., Tia did not say much and quickly let him into the living room. Jared looked around and noticed that Nicole was not around. He was sure that Nicole hid in her room and sulked. He went to the sofa, sat down, and greeted Mrs. Wallace Sr. warmly. Grandma, I'm here to visit you. You're quite a busy man. There's no need to visit me daily. If Mrs. Wallace Sr. had remembered correctly, Jared had just come over a day ago. Milady, Mr. Johnston is showing extra care for you. Tia chimed in. Mr. Johnston, have some fruits. Thanks. After being silent for quite some time, Jared carefully asked, Tia, how was Nicole when she came back? Tia frowned and looked at Jared questionably. She thought that Jared was asking about the other day when Nicole had just returned home. She tried to recall the scene from that day. I think she looked pretty happy. When Jared heard that, he was stunned. Happy? Why would she be happy? Yeah, Nicole was very happy. She even chatted a lot with us. Tia replied based on her memory. Jared was dumbfounded upon hearing Tia's response. Why did Nicole talk about Fiorella to the family too? This is too embarrassing for me. Tia, are you sure that Nicole looked happy on her face? Could you have read it wrongly? Jared looked at Tia in disbelief. Read it wrongly? Did I read it wrong? Tia lowered her head and tried to recall. That's not right. I remember Nicole was happy when she came back. Tia took some time to think and replied to Jared confidently. Jared was confused by Tia's response. No matter what, Nicole would not return happily. Unless she lifted her finger on Fiorella? This seems like the only possibility. At that thought, Jared could not help but sigh. I'll guess things have gone too far this time around. I should have just explained everything clearly to her earlier at the office. Then, he decided to head upstairs and clear things up with Nicole. Jared stood up and was about to walk to the stairs. Tia assumed he was about to leave, so she said, Mr. Johnston, you've just arrived, and you're leaving already? No, I'm going upstairs to see Nicole. After Jared had finished speaking, he wanted to head upstairs. Upstairs? Mr. Johnston, don't you know that Nicole had already left? Tia replied while looking at Jared confusedly. She left? Where to? Jared asked Tia as he was clueless. Overseas? Didn't she tell you? Tia looked at Jared's surprised expression and wondered if she had accidentally said something she should not have said again. Which flight? Jared asked Tia. I think it was the morning flight. She did not tell me about the exact time. Jared recalled everything. Could she have left for the airport immediately from my office? No wonder she asked me to help Martin. So, that was the case. Did she instruct you to do anything before she left? Asked Jared. Other than asking me to take good care of Mrs. Wallace Sr., there's nothing else. Nicole must be very angry at me this time. Otherwise, why would she not tell me about her leaving? Jared thought. I have some things to take care of. I'll make a move. After Jared hurriedly bid goodbye to Mrs. Wallace Sr., he drove off at high speed. Jared took a glance at the time while he was in the car. If she took the morning flight, she would still be on the flight. I'll wait till tonight and call her. Just as he was about to return to the office, Jared suddenly remembered about Fiorella. So, he called his assistant. Did Fiorella come by the office this afternoon? Yes, she did. I told her that you weren't around, but she did not believe in me and insisted on waiting for you in your office. Then just let her wait. Jared hung up the phone as he finished speaking. This is all Fiorella's fault. Why did she choose to wear a floral dress to my office? On top of that, she bumped into Nicole. She really did me no good. What should I do now to make Nicole happy? Unknowingly, Jared had already reached the entrance of Martin's factory. He glanced at the place. Since Nicole had already requested me to do it, I should just give it a try. To speed up the rebuilding process and continue production, Max and Claus were all busy helping on the site. Just as Jared entered the factory, Max happened to notice him. So, Max quickly ran over to him. Sir, you're here. How is the rebuilding work progressing? Jared asked as he stared at the factory, which was being worked on. Everything is on track. If everything goes well, the new facilities will come in starting next week, reported Max. Okay. Let's try to focus on the production and gain back all the time we lost. Noted. Where's Martin? Asked Jared as he looked around and did not see Martin around. Mr. Martin is in the meeting room. He and Claus are investigating the cause of the fire. All right, you should get back to your work. Jared walked toward the meeting room. In the meeting room, Martin and Claus were checking the recording taken during the investigation. Jared's footsteps were approaching the meeting room. Then, Claus was the first to notice Jared's shadow. So, he politely walked over and opened the door. Mr. Jared. Yeah. Hearing some noise, Martin looked at the door and found that Jared had arrived. Martin stood up and looked at Jared. Mr. Jared, you're here. Did you manage to find any leads? Jared walked to Martin's side. Currently, we filtered out 2 possible suspects. We're still going through the rest. Martin gave his seat to Jared and explained their progress. The 2 which you filtered out are new employees who had just joined. Jared looked at the video and questioned. One of them is a new employee, the other is a senior. Martin looked at Jared. There's only one new employee that is suspicious? Asked Jared. Yes. Everyone else seems normal. Claus, go and interrogate these two people, ordered Jared as he stared at the recording. Noted, replied Claus, and he immediately went out to work on it. Have a seat. How many recordings are there left? Jared questioned Martin. Martin moved the mouse. Those that are not done yet are all here. Play them. I'll watch it with you. Jared signaled Martin to play the video. Martin glanced at Jared and was confused by Jared's actions. Then Martin asked, Mr. Jared, aren't you busy? Martin was afraid that he was interrupting Jared's work with this. After all, a job as minute as watching videos could be managed by Martin alone. It just so happens that I'm quite free today. So, I came here to have a look. Come on, play the video. Jared urged him again. It was only then Martin played the video without hesitation. The both of them began to watch the video attentively. After an hour had passed, Claus returned to the meeting room. He walked to Jared's side and reported, Mr. Jared, those two suspects are cleared. Jared remained silent after he heard Claus. So Martin asked, that's impossible. How could they be clear of any wrongs? I'm sure I saw them looking guilty in the recording. Mr. Martin, after the interrogation, I realized that the newbie was just scared and worried about bearing responsibility. That senior has stolen things from the factory before, and that was why he was guilty. Claus explained to Martin. Martin was furious when he heard that. He had never treated any of his employees badly, yet they dared to steal. These traitors. Fire them immediately. Noted. I'll ask Charles to take care of it. Claus turned around after he had finished speaking. Martin, don't get so worked up. Who knows the culprit is in one of the clips behind here. Let's continue watching. Jared persuaded him. Then only did Martin sit down calmly and continue watching the recording. Both of them watched for quite a while when Jared suddenly shouted, rewind a little. Martin rewound to a minute before and continued playing. Jared observed and analyzed a man in the clip carefully. That man did not look guilty at all. Mr. Jared, I don't think this person is suspicious, right? Martin stared at the man in the video and asked. Take a closer look, reminded Jared. Martin went closer, and his eyes suddenly brightened. His hands were under the table, and he kept rubbing it. That's right. Perhaps this man is suspicious. Jared explained. We're not in a rush. Let's finish watching all of it. Jared was calm and asked Martin to continue playing all the unwatched recordings. We finished all of it? Asked Jared. Yes, there's none left. Other than that person's sneaky behavior, the rest only looked nervous. You can go and interrogate that person now. Jared showed his approval to Martin. Okay, I'll work on it now, Martin replied as he stood up. Try and control your emotions, reminded Jared. Noted. Martin looked at Jared and walked out. At that moment, Claus walked into the room too. Jared looked at Claus. You should join Martin in the interrogation. If his questions aren't effective, be there to remind him about it. Also, broadcast it live for me to watch. Noted. After Claus had left, Jared leaned back on the chair and closed his eyes for a while to rest. After a while, Claus sent a video, and Jared picked up his phone to watch. Throughout the whole interrogation process, Jared observed that man. Mr. Jared, we've managed to get the answer. Martin and Claus pushed the meeting room door. I saw it already. What's next? Martin looked at Jared as he had no experience with such situations. Although he admitted that it was his doing, he was paid by someone to do it. He had never seen the person, and he couldn't even tell us if that person was a man or a lady. This would be challenging. Jared spoke in a deep voice. Sigh. We went through so much to find the person who started the fire, and now there's an instigator. This is so frustrating. Martin sat down and ranted his heart out. Since we've found out about the criminal, we can't let him continue working here. Claus, send some people to keep an eye on him. Try and find out if he would meet anyone. If there is, that person might just be the one behind this whole incident. Jared looked at Claus coldly and ordered. Noted. I'll arrange them now. Then what should I do? Martin asked Jared. You still have to supervise the rebuilding works here. Other than that, you should find a few more trustable people to strengthen our security and avoid another round of accidents, Jared advised Martin. Okay, I'll go and work on it immediately. All right. Mr. Jared, if you're free tonight, I'd like to invite you for dinner. Martin wanted to thank him. Let's focus on our duties for now. Once this whole accident is resolved, we'll find time for a good meal. Jared went down as soon as he finished speaking. I'll send you off. After Martin had sent Jared off, he immediately arranged his men as instructed by Jared. Jared drove out of the factory and left on his own. Whenever Nicole was not around, Jared had no clue where to go. Just as he saw Blue Whale Restaurant, Jared stopped his car and stared at it. That's Nicole's favorite restaurant. He parked his car right in front of the entrance of Blue Whale Restaurant. Then, Jared got down from the car and entered. Mr. Jared, do you have a reservation for tonight? The manager noticed Jared walking in and immediately came forward to welcome him warmly. I don't have any reservations. I'd like to have the original place and a meal for one. All right. I'll arrange for you immediately. The manager led Jared to his seat and poured a glass of water for him before quickly walking to the kitchen. Jared sat on the chair and looked at the empty seat in front of him. Instantly, he felt empty inside. Why didn't I tell her the whole truth? She's not an unreasonable person. I'm sure she would have understood me. Well, look at me now. I've angered her so deeply that she did not bother to tell me that she was leaving. I really dug my own grave this time around. Jared sighed and laughed at himself. Then, he held up the glass and took a sip of water. Jared flipped through his phone and looked for Nicole's contact on his messenger. When he tapped into her profile, he noticed that she had blocked him. He could not see her status. Jared was unnerved immediately. He counted the time quickly and thought, she must have landed already. He tried to video call Nicole. But after ringing for some time and no one picked up the call, it automatically hung up. Jared was starting to feel unhappy. So, he dialed Nicole's number once more. After waiting for a short while, Nicole finally answered the phone. What's the matter? Nicole asked coldly. Jared could sense from her tone that Nicole was still angry. Facing that, Jared was at a loss for words instantly, so he kept quiet for a moment. Once Nicole noticed that he was not replying, she got angrier and said in an unhappy tone, I'm hanging up if you're not going to say anything. Wait. Jared stopped Nicole as soon as he heard that she was about to hang up. How could he be willing to let her hang up, especially when it was so hard to reach her by phone? Have you eaten? Jared hesitated for a moment and spit out a question. You made an international call just to ask this? Nicole mockingly replied with another question. No, have you landed safely? It seemed like Jared's brain had frozen. The moment he asked the question, he was disappointed in himself. Why would I ask such a stupid question? Nicole completely lost her patience, so she replied angrily, if there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. As soon as she finished speaking, she immediately hung up. Hey! Jared put down the phone when he heard the beeping sound. He rubbed his forehead and was disappointed in himself. Why can't I speak clearly when I'm facing Nicole directly? I was still planning to explain everything, and now I've failed all my plans. Jared drank a big gulp of water out of frustration. When the manager was carrying the food and approaching Jared, he happened to see Jared gulping down the glass of water. That made him nervous as he thought that his service was too slow, and it made Jared hungry. Therefore, the manager walked up to Jared faster and politely served the food in front of Jared. Mr. Jared, enjoy your meal. The manager quickly walked away after he finished serving. He was worried that Jared would scold him if he stayed. However, Jared did not notice the manager's weird actions at all. His head was filled with Nicole, and he kept thinking about the wrong things he had said to her. He instinctively picked up the knife and fork to cut the steak. Then, he popped a piece of meat into his mouth and began chewing. Amidst his thoughts, he did not bother to think about the taste of the food. Unknowingly, Jared had finished eating up all the food on the table. He only came back to his senses when he held the glass. Jared looked at those plates shockingly. Did I really finish all these foods on my own? I did not realize it at all. Forget it. It doesn't matter. He did not leave the place immediately. Instead, he chose to stay there and sit a little longer. After all, he would be alone in the house. It would not be any different. The night view here is quite pretty. Jared looked out of the window and sighed. When he used to visit the restaurant with Nicole, all his attention was placed on Nicole alone. This night was the day when he realized how beautiful the night view was. Jared unexpectedly took out his phone and took a picture of the view from his seat. Then, he posted it on his social media without any caption. That would make people think and interpret the picture on their own. Nicole, on the other hand, was full from her meal. When she was leaning on the chair while resting, she swiped through her social media. It so happened that she saw the photo which Jared had posted. I see, so he was at that restaurant, Nicole mumbled unconsciously. What did you say? Harvey asked again, as he did not hear Nicole's words clearly. What? Nothing. Nicole quickly swiped it away. She forgot that Harvey was eating beside her. Harvey could sense that Nicole was not acting naturally. He peeped over Nicole's phone to see what she was up to. Nicole quickly closed her phone screen and looked at Harvey coldly. What are you looking at? Finish your food quickly. Then Nicole humphed. Deep down, she was thinking about what had happened earlier at Jared's office and how he was lying to her. It hurt her to think about it. He began lying and could even do it brazenly right in front of her. It really made her feel disappointed. As she was thinking, she could not help but stare blankly. Hey, why are you in a daze? Harvey caught Nicole staring blankly after he had finished his food. So, he waved his hands right in front of her eyes. What? Have you finished eating? Nicole slapped his hands and rolled her eyes at him. Yeah. What were you thinking about? Your eyes were still. Harvey asked out of curiosity. Nothing much. Let's get back to work. Nicole got up and walked to her office. Harvey and Kelly followed behind her. Did you notice that Nicole has been acting weirdly since she returned? Harvey whispered to Kelly. A little, I guess. She seems very distracted, Kelly tried to recall and replied to him. Yeah, she is very distracted. Harvey looked as if he knew everything. Could it be that something big happened back at home? Kelly guessed. Upon hearing Kelly's assumption, Harvey frowned and appeared to be worried. That could be possible, otherwise, she would not be this distracted. Harvey knew Nicole well to a certain level. If it were not something important, Nicole would not have been bothered about it, let alone distracted by it. I'm sure I can find it out once I ask around. Harvey and Kelly were whispering behind Nicole. When they looked up, their eyes met with Nicole's, which were staring at them. Why did you look back? The both of them were scared by Nicole, and they gasped at the same time. What are you guys whispering about? Nicole looked at them with a sharp gaze. Nothing, we were just discussing what we should have for dinner. Harvey could only cover things up with a minute matter. You've just finished lunch, and you're already thinking about dinner. Could you use your brain juice on more important things instead? Nicole rolled her eyes at Harvey and scolded him. Okay. Harvey only gave a short reply in a soft voice. Let's go. As soon as Nicole finished speaking, she turned around and continued walking forward. Did you see that? She was letting out her anger on us, so she must be frustrated. Harvey was analyzing it for Kelly. Kelly nodded in agreement. It's better for us not to anger her again. Let's not be a nuisance to her. Yeah, let's go. Harvey and Kelly hurried to catch up with Nicole's footsteps. Nicole could tell that they were already following her, so she did not turn back again and continued walking straight to her office. Once Nicole pushed the office door open, she turned to the engineer who was working and asked, "How are things now? Are there any latest updates?" "No. This craft is too challenging. Without you, we can't progress at all. Nicole smiled and encouraged him. Don't worry, I'm back now. Let's work hard together. Then, Nicole walked over and began to focus on her work. In the blink of an eye, it was already Friday. To avoid Fiorella, Jared had to leave work 2 hours earlier for the past few days. So, he was forced to bring his documents back to the villa and continued working until late at night. The next day would be his off day. Jared did not want to bring those documents home that day. He looked at the time and realized that there was 1 hour left before noon. I must work harder. That way, I only need 1.5 hours in the afternoon to finish everything. Then, I can leave earlier than usual. He drank some water, picked up his pen, and continued working. Suddenly, there were some noises coming from outside. Jared listened closely, and his eyes widened in shock. Fiorella. Why did she choose to come in the morning today? Jared looked around and thought of hiding. He tried to calm down. This is my office. Why should I hide? But as soon as he recalled how persistent Fiorella was, he knew that she would bug him again. The last time when he did not hide, she ended up dragging him to a meaningless dinner in the name of work. It was a total waste of his time. Hearing her approaching, Jared immediately hid inside the back room of his office. With a bang, the office door was pushed open by Fiorella. The assistant looked toward Jared's desk helplessly, but she did not find him there, so she could not contain her shock. When I came in earlier to serve him water, he was still working there. I did not see him walking out as well. Where is he? Fiorella seemed shocked and scanned every corner of the office. I've already come earlier today, and yet I don't see Jared. Could his assistant be telling the truth? That he's out of town. Fiorella glanced at the assistant behind her angrily. Then, she walked in to search for Jared as she was not satisfied. She believed that Jared must be in the office. But even after searching through the room, she could not find him. Fiorella came to his desk and let out a long sigh. Why is Jared away for so long? Even his assistant doesn't know where he went. That's too odd. All of a sudden, Fiorella's gaze landed on an uncovered pen on the table. According to Jared's habit, he would definitely cover the pen before leaving. But this pen was simply left on the table uncovered. It seems like Jared did not leave, or he left the office in a hurry without covering it up. At that thought, a mischievous smile formed on Fiorella's face. Since he wants to play, I'll play along with him. He really isn't here. I guess I saw wrongly. Fiorella purposely made up an excuse for herself. The assistant hurried in front and said, You must have seen the wrong person. Mr. Jared has been away for days. No one else had entered this room except for me. I was here to get some documents. If that's the case, I'll leave for now. Once Jared is back, make sure to inform me first thing, alright? Fiorella purposely said it in a louder voice in hopes that Jared heard her. She turned around and left the office. Seeing that Fiorella had left, the assistant quickly closed the office door and sent her off to the elevator lobby personally. She made sure to see her walk into the elevator, and the door closed before walking back to the office. When she pushed the door open, Jared had already returned to his seat and continued working. Sir, just now. The assistant looked at Jared confusedly. Has she left? Asked Jared. Yes. I personally see her off just now. Okay, you may get back to work. All right. The assistant went out and closed the office door. Jared let out a sigh of relief. He was awfully close to being caught by Fiorella. Good thing he was fast enough, otherwise it would be embarrassing. He picked up the pen and continued working. Little did he know that the pen he was holding was the thing that exposed him.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.